We're going to get started if you don't mind. We'd like to thank everybody for a new year of College Council. As in the past years, if you guys have any topics you want us to cover, anything that is going around current events that you would like to know about, send us an email. We actually have a new email address, and this should be on next week or next College Council flyer. But if you email collegecouncil@email.pcc.edu, or you just type in College Council, hit check name, it'll automatically populate, okay? That comes to everybody who's on the College Council. All right, that's something new this year, okay? One other thing that's new that we're doing, we're actually live streaming now. Okay, most of you should have got an email about an hour ago. This is blasted out. This is not to deter anybody from coming to a College Council. We know a lot of people in the past have said, hey, I can't come, or I want to come, or hey, what did you talk about? This is an opportunity to reach more people around campus, okay? So what we're doing, we're just pushing it out there. If you're not able to attend, if you're on vacation, whatever, and you just want to see it. Some of you laugh about that, like that. You'll be able to see it, okay? Or if you want to go back and play it later, you'll be able to do that as well, okay? So, first I'd like to introduce a new co-convener with me is Ashley Walker. So, Dr. Willard went off, so she's one who will be filling in with me, so you can see more of her. Also, this is Dr. Rouse's first College Council. Welcome, Dr. Rouse. At this time, we're going to get started with the agenda. So, Dr. Rouse, if you want to give us an update of the college and whatever you see fit, sir. Floor is yours.
Thank you. And again, I want to say thank you to everyone who was present today to be here for College Council. This is my first College Council at Pitt Community College. At my former institution, which I refuse to mention the name anymore, we did have a College Council there. It was a vehicle where you could have cross-campus communication with all the individuals who serve various roles, plus an opportunity for you to give us input into our administration and to what's going on. Share communication. And what we found, no matter where you go, there's always a concern about communication, or things being shared among all the faculty and staff. So I think the College Council is a way of doing that, plus a way of addressing any issues that may be out there and make sure that we bring resolution to it, plus getting your input into the institution. So certainly, I'm delighted that you're here today. This is day 29 of my presidency. It seems like I've been here a little bit longer than 29 days. But it's been great. This has been one of the reasons it's been longer than 29 days because of everyone that I meet, all of the different events that I've attended, the years that I've been in Greenfield for probably 4 or 5 years. Certainly I've met a lot of individuals, and everywhere that I go, I must tell you this, I'm going to share with you as I deal with the Board of Trustees. There is a great respect for Pitt Community College. And everywhere I go, I keep saying to them what I told them on convocation, this is the world's greatest community college. If you've not been to other colleges, if you've not been outside of Pitt Community College, you would soon discover that if you were to go elsewhere. So certainly it's an opportunity, it's an honor for me to be here as your president. And certainly I look forward to meeting everyone. I know that we will have some scheduled visits to departments that I've not visited as of yet. And we'll certainly have some discussion. I want to come see where you live. You already know where I live. That's over in Burnt Pike, but I want to come out and visit you where you are so that I can get a feel for where our faculty and staff. inside, as well as getting to meet you and shake your hands as well. As far as the general college update, one of the things that I'll have to say is that I've watched this institution, number one, meeting a lot of the complication and the energy that was in the room on that day. And I'm going to try something here again. Everybody's probably tired of this. I'm going to try it one more time. I know that Rick was privy to it earlier and some other folks in here. Go! That's spreading. That's real nice. Real nice. And certainly appreciate the enthusiasm that I'm hearing behind that, because we hope that we can inspire everyone to do the best that you can do in whatever role you play here at Big Community College. So as far as an update, of course, we've had convocation, which is the kickoff of this semester. We also have registration, which Dr. Smith chose to take me around to different departments and to introduce me to his staff for the registration process, as well as got a chance to meet some of our students. And the process to me was very, very comprehensive. It worked very well for the number of students that we registered at any given day. But we also want to say that we also have late start classes, so we want to make sure that we let individuals know that we still have an opportunity for them to become students at the world's greatest community college. So please spread that word as you're talking with individuals and make sure they understand that. We also had a wonderful event at Coral Bay, which we were interacting with a lot of individuals who will fund our scholarships. They're potential donors. We have probably about 8 or 9 individuals there for a weekend, and for them to also meet with me, and for me to meet with them. And we have a lot of support in that area, but we certainly need from our faculty staff their fair share, as we had lunch today, that you definitely need a fair share with the scholarships and making your donations to the institution. Because it supports all of our students, and certainly want to make sure we give them all the support that we can through financial or other opportunities. The other things I've met with a lot of individuals out in the community, from the city manager who really had some ideas for new programs that they've shared with Dr. Gould already. Certain things that we can be doing and to hopefully help the employers within our region. Yesterday I had an opportunity to go meet with individuals with the Gateway Partnership. And I shared this with a few individuals at our board meeting. There appears that a company is coming from China. It's going to be a tire maker. It's going to locate in Edgecombe County. And this tire company will hire 1,300 individuals immediately. And Fifth Community College has been called upon in order to help Edgecombe Community College, National Community College, as well as Wilson, Halifax, I'm missing a couple of more. But it's about 6 different schools that will be working together to help build that workforce, to help find that workforce that's coming. Now, for me, it was really amazing that we now have a company coming from China. Think about that for a minute. A company coming from China to eastern North Carolina. And they will be hiring 1,300 individuals to work. What we've heard in the past is the global impact of jobs leaving America. So this may be the start of the first one. And the reason I think this is because the company that's coming is very high tech. Watch the video, and just about everything is operated by robots. Everything that was produced. I think in the production of the tires, it's very few human hands that touch them. But they still need support of 1,300 individuals on this one company site. They're going to make car tires as well as heavy equipment tires. Now, one of the other figures I've heard is that we have 56,000 people in 6 counties that are unemployed and that are employed, but yet they can't go to work. So wouldn't it be great if Pitt Community College and other community colleges played a role in matching those individuals in our community who are looking for work to the job market, to the jobs that are there. In our 6 counties, we're also going to have about 1,000 jobs available between now and 2021. Look at your calendar, that's not far away. So it's important that we reach out and we educate the students that we have, and also reach out to other students who benefit from our service. So each of you play a role in that, and certainly appreciate all that you do. I don't get into a lot of facts and figures, but I just wanted to let you know how important it is for Pitt Community College to respond to the needs of our business industry. And also that we respond to our partners, our educational partners such as ECU, also for our other business and industry that we've been serving for a long time, such as Light Hospital Services, as well as any other employees within our community. So my update to you is that I've been in the community, and what I'm hearing is really great things about Pitt Community College and the work that you do here. Everybody that I've met has a positive story. I've not heard a negative story yet, I'm sure. Just waiting for me, but everything is very, very positive. I certainly appreciate the job that you do. I'm very lucky to join each of you in helping Pitt Community College to be the best that it can be. And certainly I would entertain any questions that anyone may have at this point. Be shy. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what types of programs or skills they're seeking for that?
I don't know which types are seeking, but as soon as we're going to meet in several places on several different times. We've got another meeting scheduled in about 3 weeks. And so we'll get an idea of what they're looking for. Necessarily, it's time to get all the community colleges together and start talking about how do we embrace this kind of get those positions. But as soon as we do, we'll certainly send it out to everyone. Yes, sir.
Any word on raises for this year?
That's a good question. Well, let me just say that the legislature has authorized a 2% raise, and we're working on the budget now to see if there's anything else we can do. Are they on this morning? Are you guys always this morning? I'm not used to this, if you ask this question. But anyhow, if not, thank you for being here, and thank you for listening, and Jeremy, I'll give you back the microphone.
Next, we'll have Rick Owens with a capital projects and traffic patterns update.
So, real quick. Yeah, we're better? All right. So, every building renovations, we did begin these earlier this summer. It's a little bit backwards in my mind. Most people, we've got phase one, which is taking place on the second floor. We actually began this project in design back in 2016. Bids came in high, we went back out to bid, worked on that one. They were supposed to actually complete phase one this month. The GC, the general contractor, had a scheduling issue that has pushed it out, so we'll actually finish up the second floor of the library in December. Be about a month turnaround time, and then we'll start the renovation on the first floor. Just real quick, not everybody has seen it. This is the first floor of the library. Right now, if you go in, there's a whole lot of walls. When you come in after it's done, there'll be a whole lot of open space. The bottom of the map is the part that faces Pitt Tech Road. On the left is going to be a collaborative workspace, group spaces to work together. On the right is going to be kind of the back of the house side of things. That's where some offices, print stations, circulation desk, disability services is located. Good, right there. So you don't have on Main Street. Then on the top left-hand corner there is the computer lab that'll be used there. Second floor, stacks will be reoriented, and it'll be kind of broken up. You'll see the color pattern, that is the
carpet won't be white, but the orange, blue, green, that'll be some colored floor tiling that will go there to kind of differentiate between the spaces. There will be more collaborative spaces in there. We created some additional study rooms. The study rooms pretty much wrap around the exterior of the space. This will be a library education lab, computer lab. For those who've been around, we dive in that top back room again, but it'll actually have decent ventilation and air conditioning this go around. Just say it was hot last night. And then there will be a breakout of a reading room up in the top right where, for those of you that have been around, where the old instructional lab used to be. So, this phase right here will be done December-ish and will be open. So we're not going to interrupt exams to move stuff around. So we're going to work around the students' exam schedules, but if it is open, we will go ahead and try to get some of the space utilized. The next major project that is going on, the next new construction, is the Eddie and Joe Allison Smith Center for Student Advancement. It's roughly 33,000 square feet. Anticipated cost is about $8.5 million. We'll have flexible classroom meeting space. It is funded by money that is being raised by the PCC Foundation. It's a go team. They've done, to me, a pretty remarkable job. If you talk to other community college foundations, there are very few that do brick and mortar. Most of them focus on student scholarships. Our foundation, this is actually the second building. I think, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I know this is at least the second. The Simon building was actually the first project that was done on campus, predominantly private funding. It'll have meeting space for 600 people at tables like these, at round tables, with an auditorium, just rows of chairs set up. It'll be somewhere between 11 to 1,200. It'll have program spaces for the divisions, men's resource center, women's resource center, veterans resource centers. That is the rendering. And this will be, that is another. So this building will actually be located directly across the street from A.D. Whitley. So when you come onto campus on Reedy Branch Road, it's actually going to look like you're entering the college campus for the first time since 1960-something. Floor plans. So the first floor is predominantly meeting space. There'll be flexible classroom space, type of Stevenson here. Seating, this is where concerts and stuff like that will actually be able to take place. We will be working on acoustics, AV, all of that fun stuff. The two big rooms are 50-seat meeting / multi-purpose rooms. The big green block in the middle, that's actually 3 days. We're working on breaking it up into 5 days. Each one of those days is about 1.5 to 1 2/3 the size of this space. So, pretty good sized spot that we'll actually be able, for once and for all, be able to get all of the community college together somewhere other than the gym. I read the convocation reviews. Nobody likes the air conditioning in there. It's too hot, it's too cold. This will be better. It's something that's long been needed for big community college. On the second floor, when we dive into it, there'll be spaces up top. Is kind of the resource center. So there's a women's resource center, veterans resource center, a men's resource center. The orange space in the middle is predominantly provisions. On the right, we'll actually have for the first time a boardroom that is capable of holding the foundation board, which will seat about 40 people. The conference room space across the hall, foundation offices, scholarship, boarding offices, development. Coming along the bottom side of it is institutional advancement. The back side, right here on the left, is marketing and promotional areas. Any questions on student advancement center yet? Once, twice. Layout, so you can see where we are. Early college, in case y'all didn't know, we did finish that one up early. They started classes in there late July or August. It didn't start that way, so we started in July. The Smith Center for Student Advancement, right here, as I mentioned, directly across from A.D. Whitley. The project that will take place after that is the Design and Workforce Technology Center. I'll dive into that one in a second. Traffic pattern, I really hope I had a whole lot more to update on than I have. I'm still fighting with DOT. The PCC Police Department right now is doing another traffic study. They're counting people that are walking in the crosswalk, outside the crosswalk, cars going up and down Reed Branch Road. I'm not there a whole lot, but it's not the safest place in the world to try to. It amazes me the number of people. If I drive a big black truck, it's amazing the number of people that will step out in front of it. Okay. It ain't stopping real quick. They don't pick up on that. But we are working on that. We will be working on some fence line, some shrubberies, some natural fencing, stuff like that, along Reedy Branch Road to stop those from crossing where they get the fields to cross. We've got a crosswalk. Right now, what we're pushing the OT for is a four-way stop at the south end, right out here where Warren Drive and Reedy Branch Road meet, and then a three-way stop where the crosswalk is at Bulldog. Those are the two predominant asks that we've made. They have denied those, so I'm going back and asking again with better numbers. I do have, so if you want to pray for something, you can pray for the Fire Tower Road extensions to take place. Because when that happens, I do have from DOT that they will turn Reedy Branch Road over to Pitt Community College. So that means we'll be able to bulldoze that road, that will be a pedestrian campus. That is back listed as a fast track project. Fast track project 5 years ago. So we moved to the speed of the DOT. Other traffic ideas that we were looking at, I've been talking with the DOT, something that we run into that is somewhat complicated is I have a mixture of private owned roads by the college, and then Pitt Tech Road is actually owned by the great state of North Carolina. It's a DOT road, so anything I want to do to it, I have to get permission. But one of the bottlenecks that we run into is right here at Fulford Drive and Pitt Tech Road. So we've got students that are coming in, they're trying to come in, they hang a right on the Pitt Tech Road, then they try to take that immediate left into the Fulford parking lot. Traffic will back up to 11, then they're trying to get out. It's all around fun time and classic changes taking place. I have talked to DOT, we've got their engineers that made a tentative recommendation. I didn't really care for it, so they're coming back out to do some traffic studies and pattern watching and stuff like that. The suggestion they made was close Pitt Tech Road there, which maybe at some point, but I'm not ready to pull that trigger yet, and I definitely was not going to pull that trigger with Dr. Rouse coming in. So I'll give you a little bit before I set the traffic pattern. Other things we are looking at, we did have, for those of you that were around, remember we did have a master plan done. They had a civil engineer, traffic engineer, come out and made some recommendations as far as from some of the roads to the one-way stops and stuff like that. They wrapped those recommendations up late last spring. I wasn't going to do that for the new president. I'd like to talk with Dr. Rouse and let him see the campus a little bit before we go down that path. Design Workforce Technology Center that I mentioned. This would be 52,000 square feet for location. It will be located between the Smith building and the Warren building, filling out the rest of that front street on Reedy Branch Road. It will be focused predominantly on new and emerging technologies. Cybersecurity is a big one that will go in there. Right now, everybody that we can talk to, all the industries that are pushing are saying we'll hire as many as you can put out. Advertising, graphic design, have updated, renovated spaces. Simulation, game design, creating collaborative spaces in there. Industrial pharmaceutical technology, criminal justice labs, drone technologies, and then the other thing that's not really listed up here is makerspace, which is ECU's got maker labs, a lot of high schools have got maker labs, which to me is a big open space that there's technology, so you can take a welding student and an entrepreneur student, throw in the same space and they can come up with something. It's collaborative workspace. That one will be, we are working with the county. Years ago, they passed a 4% sales tax. By my calculations, it should be about up for the bond offering, which is where some of this would come from. We are also grant funding to this as well. With that, where's that one? Let's go with this for another presentation. Questions? Come on. Good talk.
Next, we will have Travis Kinsey with a trio update.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Travis Kinsey, Director of Trio Programs. Today, I'm going to provide a brief overview of the programs, some recent outcomes, and highlight some new services and strategies we have implemented over the last few months. The Student Support Services serve 160 eligible PCC students. The eligibility requirements, they must enroll at Pitt Community College, a first-generation college student, have a low income status, and a documented disability. This could be a document from disability services or in medical documentation. We provide opportunities for academic enhancement, motivation towards successful completion of post-secondary education. We increase college retention and graduation rates, and assist students in transferring to four-year universities. Our program services, we offer one-on-one personalized tutoring that's wrapped around the student's schedule, academic planning and course selection, student development workshops and seminars with students for academic planning, financial literacy, cultural enrichment activities that are designed to increase the student's social and cultural awareness. And there's also a leadership development component as well. Below is a chart that outlines our recent objectives and outcomes for the Student Support Services Department as of our last APR. Our persistence rate is 98.75%. Our good academic standing rate is 79.3%. Associate attainment rate is right at 30%. And our transfer rate is at 5 and 66.6% respectively. The Educational Opportunity Center, you can think of that as recruitment and or outreach. We offer pre-enrollment services to up to 1,000 at-risk potential college students annually. We have EOC sites at Pitt, Martin, and Edgecombe Community College, and within those counties. Now, the eligibility requirement are first-generation students, low-income, high school students that are transferring to four-year institutions, GED, post-secondary veterans, and veterans. Counseling, what we provide are counseling information on college admissions to qualified adults. There's some financial literacy training as well. Our main goal is to assist students in completing college applications and financial aid applications. Our outcomes in our objectives, as far as the Education Opportunity Center, a financial aid application, we're at 88.32%, 99.69% for post-secondary education admissions, and those students that apply for admissions that actually enroll were at 100% and 99.79% respectively. So over the summer, we have implemented quite a few things. We started off with information sessions. During the spring and summer, we had over 70 participants that came to the information sessions to learn more about the programs. Our fall session will be part of the faculty resources for student support event tomorrow, so feel free to come out to that. If you're not able to make that event or we're not able to attend the spring and summer, you can always email us at Trio Programs. We'll be more than happy to come to your next department or class meeting. We were also a part of new student orientation. We advertised in the student and the parent department. We felt as if the parent session, we felt as if the parents were be able to recognize the need as far as their student, if they were first generation, if they would be a good fit for our particular program. The Support Services Department had a resource table, and the EOC department assisted with FAFSA and applications. Each student in new student orientation completed a new student interest form. 353 students indicated they were interested and qualified for TRIO programs. Going down, you'll see where those students came from. 32% of those students were arts and sciences, 24% were health sciences, 20% were public service and fine arts, and and 12% were business and construction industrial technology. Last week, they kicked off our I Am First Year campaign. I'm sure we all heard about that, right? Yes. All right, that's a collaboration with Trio and other campus stakeholders. The goal is to increase awareness and bring community amongst first-generation college students. Throughout the fall, we'll have First Year Fridays, which is the first Friday of every month, where we'll have cultural enrichment activities catered toward those students. We also have our first-generation ACA classes. We're going to track those students throughout the year to make sure that they're able to persist and move on to the actual next semester. We also have some professional development coming with faculty and first gen. So pretty much we talk about classroom experiences and approaches for improvement for first-generation college students. And lastly, we have first-generation fellows, which is a student leadership initiative where we will pair campus stakeholders with first-generation college students in an effort to build mentoring relationships. In the fall, we have 3 college tours planned so far. We plan on attending ECU, Wesleyan, and North Carolina Central University. One of our goals is to keep an allotment of waivers on hand. Now, the schools listed below, we either received an allotment of waivers from, or they have indicated that there's no application fee to attend their institution. And that is a growing list that we have available. Some of the new programming that we've come up with, we've had Branding Yourself, which is a social media and dinner etiquette course that we're going to offer to our students. There's some meditation training, financial wellness, communication skills, and research strategies being done by our librarian. We've also revamped our in-house leadership program now under the name Center for Engaging Leadership, where we will focus on understanding their leadership styles, service learning projects, and those students will attend student leadership conferences. We have also partnered with BB&T. They have come in and trained the staff on their financial wellness module. Here's a list of the modules that they have available. What we like the most about their program is that it will give the student an action plan that they can go and implement on their own once they complete each and every module. On a semester basis, they're going to come in and provide a celebratory effort for those students that have completed a module. Lastly, we've been working with the Director of Financial Aid to implement a financial aid cost analysis. This is, what we found is that we may sometimes try to turn students into financial aid counselors when they just need the basics. So what we come up with is, up top, we indicate the charges per semester. Going down each column, we indicate the amount of aid that they will receive. Then towards the end, we'll give them a balance. Of course, if it's a credit balance, that means they'll receive a refund. However, if the school is on the balance, we'll move to part 2, and we'll determine how they're going to actually pay that particular balance. Now, towards the end, we have verbiage. The verbiage is the same verbiage that is on the financial aid application. So we'll go over that one by one with each student so that they're able to make a conscious decision as far as taking out student loans. So this is our effort to hold the student academically and financially accountable in Trio. The next will be the contact us for the reason. That's our contact information. Any questions for me? No? Thank you.
Next, we will have Neil with an update on the simulation labs.
Thanks to my assistant for setting this up for me. So I want to begin today by I have a confession. As much as the Health Sciences Division values and appreciates the Science Department, there was nobody on campus more happy to see them move out of the medical than we were when they moved over to the new science building. Because what that did for us was free up some space in the Fulford and Simon buildings so that we could expand some of our space and to set up some spaces for training purposes that we've not had before. And so I was invited today to share with you a little bit about the simulation hospital that we've renovated, but I did want to mention that we're doing 2 phases of renovations in the building, and while we've been working on creating the simulation hospital, we've also been working to create an EMS lab on our campus here. Thank you, Dr. Brazel, for sharing your space in Con Ed with paramedic program, and so we'll kind of get out of her hair, and she's probably going to be very glad for us to get out of her neighborhood too, down here in our new space. We've also taken 2 labs to create new scanning spaces for ultrasound, and we've also created a very small version of the simulation hospital in Fulford. Our simulation hospital in Fulford has 10 beds in it, and the small simulated version in Fulford is a 2-bed, more of a lab where faculty can work one-on-one with students. So we're excited about our space. Our next phase of renovations are going to involve working on our current radiography lab, opening up that footprint, doing some updates in our OTA lab, and creating a mammography lab. We've had some equipment donated for these spaces, and then we've also been able to get some funding through the Vidant Medical Center and Golden Leaf to help fund, and then of course campuses help fund, our state budget has helped fund some of this equipment. So we're excited about our new space. This simulation hospital has really been a dream come true. It has been something that we have wanted, I know, long before I ever became dean, and I've been doing this gig for a little while now. So my faculty, I mean, we couldn't be more thrilled with it. And I brought with me today some pictures of it, if you can tell a little bit about it. I don't have any of the other labs, but they've been primarily, at the time I was able to take some pictures, nothing but rooms with 4 walls. I didn't think they would be all that appealing. But the simulation hospital is located on the 2nd floor of Simon in room 202, 203, and 204. And so basically what we have is 203 is in the center, and it is the control room that houses all the audio visuals and things that faculty will use to connect with the students that are in the simulation hospital. And then 202, we have 5 beds set up into this space. And you can see that they're divided by glass partitions. We have a nursing station you can see over to the right of the screen. We have 2 beds in all these spaces. We have the little workstation on wheels like you see in a hospital that your nurses and therapists and so forth roll around from bed space to bed space. The audio-visual technology in here is state of the art. We could not have asked for that to have been any better. It's amazing. And so each bed space has its own camera, its own recording devices. We have Beeline recording software that's going to enable the faculty to record the simulated experiences and be able to play them back for the students. But anyway, it's basically the 2 labs are a mirror image of each other. You can see this is 204, so this is the other 5 beds on the other side. And then this is the control room, and you can see there's one-way windows in the control room so that faculty can see into the simulation lab, but the students can't see us. Our last bit of equipment that we need to have in order for these labs to be functional are our human simulators. And so we are working to get those purchased. We'll be purchasing 10 high-fidelity simulators that they lack a conscience, but beyond that, they are human. So we'll be able to do pretty much whatever we need to do from a simulation perspective once we get this equipment in. Having this simulation hospital is going to provide some advantages, both from a teaching perspective, for sure. This is going to really provide our students this real-world environment on our campus. And so it's going to enable them the opportunities to practice things over and over again that they ordinarily wouldn't get to do in a hospital setting, because, even though our students are in the hospital every semester and working with patients, you don't get do-overs. You have to get it right the first time. You don't get to practice. It's the expectation that all that's been done here on our campus to the best of our ability. And so these simulation rooms are going to allow us to be able to facilitate that type of practice with our students. Also, it provides us an opportunities for students to do a self-assessment and peer review, because we will be recording the experiences. And so we have another phase to term assignment 205, which will be just nothing more than a classroom environment where students, we can play back the experiences and students can evaluate them for themselves as well as evaluate the performance of other students. That's what we call debriefing with our students. When we've done simulation up to this point, even in the departments that we have now, because we have some simulation space, we have physicians and so forth that come from the hospital that are involved in these simulation experiences with our students. So they are participating in this debriefing with the students. And so we look forward to being able to do more and more of that in the simulated environment. One thing I really like about it, especially being someone who has been training healthcare students for a long time, is students can't debate with you what they did. I can remember the day of when we teach students to take blood pressures and you had the dual stethoscope. So I have one set of the earpieces in my ear and the student has the other set in their ear, and then you've got the little part, you lay on their chest or on their arm to take their blood pressure, and if one person went one way and another person went the other way, you'd almost hang each other because you're all tied together. And then students, sometimes want to debate with you a little bit on what you heard their blood pressure to be versus what they heard their blood pressure to be. But when you're working with these human simulators, we can tell that simulator what we want the pressure to be, and there's no arguing what it was. When students feel for a pulse, it records, it knows the student felt for that pulse. So if we say to the student, hey, you didn't check a pulse at this point of the scenario, we have the evidence to support that. And so no more of this debate thing. And then another important piece that I think is of value to the students is they can make mistakes, and it's okay. Even more importantly, they can make mistakes and experience the consequences of those mistakes and really see what could have been a negative impact on their patient. Of course, we also have the philosophy of what happens in the simulation lab stays in the simulation lab, but it does give them an opportunity to practice, make the mistakes, and learn from that experience. And it's like the old saying goes, if you have that experience, it's generally not something you'll repeat. And so certainly we have those opportunities with students and individual departments. The other most important piece of having a true simulation hospital, it is our goal that multiple programs are going to be utilizing this space. Much of the media that has talked about the financial commitment from the hospital and some of the things that you've been seeing and follow along make it sound like this is a nursing lab. These are not nursing labs. This is a simulation hospital. And the goal of this is to bring multiple health sciences disciplines together so that they work just like they work in a hospital. We'll be running this 5 days a week. So we're really looking forward to being able to bring those programs together. Because up until now, the simulation we're doing is in the dedicated spaces of these departments, and they're utilizing those spaces for labs and classroom. It's very hard to bring them together that way, and so in this simulation hospital, we'll be able to do that a much better way than what we've been doing before. And certainly, you can imagine that it does help to build the students' critical thinking and problem solving and team working and all those things that we value with our students. Last and probably the most important from a campus perspective and an enrollment perspective is we will utilize this simulation hospital as a clinical placement for multiple departments. And so what it is allowing us to do is to increase enrollment. We'll be increasing enrollment next fall in our nursing program by 50 students. We currently have a capacity for 225. We have received approval for the North Carolina Board of Nursing for 300. We're going to go to 275 first. We've got to make sure we have enough resources for 300, but that is our goal. to work toward 300. We're also going to be increasing enrollment by obviously much smaller numbers in some of our allied health programs because clinical placements work a whole lot different. And you can't put but so many of the allied health specialties in one particular clinical location, but we are looking to expand enrollment and have done so actually this fall in a couple of things like respiratory therapy, but we'll be looking to accept some extra students in respiratory, ultrasound, and radiography. And all of those programs are very competitive and we have lots of students that we turn away. And so even though the numbers for those allied health programs aren't 50 like you're hearing about for nursing, if you're the 2 or 3 students that we got to go down a little further on the list, that's going to be a really big deal for them. And so we're excited about the opportunities we do. We are pretty much wrapping up this first phase of renovations. We could not have asked for a better location for this simulation hospital. The only way it would have been better is for us to have started at the ground with nothing and just built something we wanted. It is the perfect location for an existing part of the space on our campus to put this. And so we're thrilled about it. There's been, some of us walk in and tears are shed every now and then because we're so excited. We do hope to start using it this fall. Probably will not be using it to the full extent that we plan to until the spring, but we are looking forward to moving in. And we will be having an open house, and I hope that when we reach that point, you all can come and visit. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
And lastly, we will have Dr. Smith and Amelia with the smoking update, clearing the smoke.
All right, hello PCC, how are you? All right, I have 8 minutes to talk with you about a very exciting subject, and I'm so delighted to speak with you about this. PCC family, and we are now smoke-free, and I'm so delighted to share that. Why don't we give ourselves a hand clap for that? And I'll tell you why, it's been a long journey, and we're going to kind of give you a little journey here as how long it took. We promoted this back in the fall. There was an initiative started, of course. You all were here, I wasn't, but you all started this initiative along with Ms. Bain here. And in 2016, the initiative began. We surveyed students and faculty and staff, as well as submitted the new policy proposal to the President's Leadership Council, as well as the Board of Trustees. Our fourth step in the process, of course, was meeting or allowing the Board of Trustees to give their stamp of approval, and they did in December 2017. And then we established the implementation plan for a successful smoke-free campus. And as of August the 14th, 2018, we are officially a smoke-free campus. So we're delighted to be a smoke-free campus. There are only us, along with us is Foresight. You see the map up here. There are some 100% tobacco-free campuses, but here we are, PCC, in the clear, that white star there, we're 100% smoke-free campus, along with Foresight Tech and Community College. All right, moving right along, let's talk a little bit about the policy. Big Community College also recognizes that it has the legal authority to prohibit tobacco, but let's get down to this part. Therefore, beginning August 14, 2018, Big Community College implemented the following policy. Here it is. Smoking is prohibited by students, staff, faculty, and visitors in all campus buildings, facilities, or property owned, leased, or operated by Big Community College, including these areas. And you can take a look there. And then also, number 2, for the purpose of this policy, smoking products include cigarettes, cigars, little cigars. I mean, we had to really define this. And if you don't know what we're talking about, check this out. We have a picture. And right there, I didn't realize, I'm learning. Miss Bain taught me some things because I didn't know what a jewel was. I thought it was jewelry. But had no idea, but there they are. And so be on the lookout for these type of smoking objects there. But let's move right along. The policy continues. The sale or free distribution of tobacco products, including merchandise, is prohibited on campus or at school. Student organizations are prohibited from accepting monies or gifts from tobacco companies, including parties sponsored by tobacco companies. And you all will be more aware of this, and I'm pretty sure Ms. Bain is. We sent this out a couple of times to make folks aware of the policy. And then lastly, other smokeless tobacco products, including but not limited to plug and twist tobacco, dips, nuts, on and on and on, are prohibited inside all college facilities and college vehicles. So we certainly want to adhere to this policy. Yes. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Bain, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about the implementation of our new policy.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for letting us speak with you again today about the policy and just continuing to keep you updated on what's going on with Pitt Community College becoming smoke-free. And I do thank all of you guys who are abiding by our policy so far. So how are we implementing it on campus? What are we doing to get the word out? I'm hoping that all of you guys have noticed our beautiful signs out on campus and at all of the entrances. And I actually really want to thank our facility services for assisting in putting all those signs out. When I handed him 50 signs, he goes, "Oh my goodness, this is a lot." But they did a great job in dropping out for us. I really appreciate that. We've had a couple educational sessions this summer for our students, just to learn about the effects of tobacco and smoking, and what it really means for them. And for us, that was important because some people don't understand why we included things like e-cigarettes in the policy. It's not tobacco, but it's still very harmful, and it still is a distraction to those who walk in the closet and smoke or vapor. We sent out policy countdown emails throughout the summer. Hopefully all of you guys were able to read those emails. We actually had a really good open rate. So on average, open rates for emails, does anybody know the average, national average open rates for emails campaign? You want to guess? Anyone guess? I like interactive things. I know this is at the end and y'all are ready to go, but so the average open rate is right about 25%. So for our policy, our campaign, for our students, so this is not faculty or staff, for our students, we had an average open rate right around 32%. We're opening up our countdown emails. So our campus, 5,000 students, a little over 5,000 students who received it, are aware of what's going on campus. We, of course, have removed a few of the little gazebos across campus. Potentially a few more will be going to the wayside, but we're going to assess that as we go along. We've changed our policy language and updated some of that for all of our publications, and communicated this across campus. And of course, we had our smoke-free kickoff celebration. We had about 120 people come to that across campus, and so that was a great celebration where Dr. Smith actually gave a welcome. We had some health insights, and so I would say overall, our implementation has been going very well. Now you might be saying, well, what does that mean? Are people following the policy? What's going on? So just from my perspective, and also speaking with Chief, we have had really good, I would say overall, really good numbers following the policy so far. People are aware and people are adhering to it. Now, of course, there's a few stray ones out there that we're going to remind them very nicely of what our new policy is on campus, but I would say overall, it's been going great. But we recognize that, you can't just do something and then quit. You have to see it all the way through, as Dr. Smith reminds me, see it through.
See it through.
So what this means is, we recognize this as a culture of change for Pitt Community College. We came from tobacco money, as we were reminded in Bless Your Heart. It is a paradigm shift.
It's a don't forget your razor.
So we know that this is going to take some time and some great education for our campus. And so we definitely want to recognize that and honor that and take time. So that's why we have this beautiful thing called grace. we have a grace period. So this semester, we're calling this our grace period, where we really want to inform our campus. We really want to make sure they know what's going on. As we see people, if they aren't following the policy. Hey, did you know that smoking is not allowed on campus?
No.
All right, that's our new policy at Pitt.
Oh, let me put that away.
Correct.
Hollywood, here I come, right?
That's right. So we have the grace period, but eventually we're gonna have to be a little bit more, say this is the policy and you know the policy. And that's where our student code of conduct, our human resources will come in if we find we have some habitual breakers. We will go through the same routes that we go through for any other policies on campus, which would be those two different areas. And of course, if we find that, one area of campus needs a little bit more reminding, or there needs to be more signage in another area, we're going to send out these reminders as we go along.
And Ms. Bain, I would like to say, I would like to thank all of our faculty and staff. They've done a great job as well. We did send out 722 emails to our faculty and staff. And when you were talking about the opening rate, 51% of our faculty and staff, they opened that email. So 501 of the 722 people, staff and faculty that received that email actually opened it. So that lets us know that you are cognizant of this new policy as well.
That's great. So, we made a policy, we're changing the dynamics, we're doing a paradigm shift, but we're not going to leave you hanging. We want to help you out, because at Pitt Community College, we look out for one another as families. One thing we have done is we have partnered with Guided Health, as well as with our continuing education department, so thank you, Dr. Brown, to offer a freedom from smoking class, okay? So this is a cessation class. So if you're in need of support to quit, you can sign up for our cessation freedom from smoking class. For faculty and staff, it is $35, but it's actually going to take place on PCC campus from 5:30 to 6:30 in the evening. So you get done today, you go to class right here in Russell, then you go home after 2 months. Hopefully you'll have a quick plan and you'll be on the road to smoke-free life. If it were that easy. But hopefully it is, because we're going to get you signed up for that class and get you on the road to smoke-free life. If you can't go to class, say, no, my days don't work for me. There's a lot of other free resources out there for you. The NC Quit Line, smokefree.gov, stopsmokingcenter.net are all free resources that you can use. They help you make quit plans, you have quizzes where you can come up with a plan. And then also, don't neglect your health plan, your resource that you pay for each month when you get your benefits. Go see Human Resources to learn what is available to you through your North Carolina State Health Plan. Any questions, guys?
Any questions? Good. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
All right, at this time, we'll open the floor to any announcements or any other thing anybody has anything to say. Yes, ma'am.
Success Navigators in partnership with TRIO and Men's Resource Center is holding the financial wellness expo on Wednesday from 10 to 1. We hope that you will encourage your students to come because we're going to be sharing some important financial literacy topics as well. So please encourage that.
Yes, sir.
I want to let everybody know that Faculty Senate is having its first meeting this academic year. It's going to be Tuesday, so after you've rested up from that 3-day weekend, hit Tuesday with a meeting. It's 2 o'clock, and it's going to be in Russell 144. This is open to certainly faculty. We'd love to have administration, staff. This is open to anybody because even though, yes, it's a faculty senate, but oftentimes our greatest insight and greatest conversations happen when we're talking across the aisles. So please, open invite, and this time we're having snacks. So we'll see you there.
Good afternoon. Back in 2015, the college did the personal assessments of the college environment, a PACE climate study. September 26th through October 10 on about those dates. We're going to do another PACE climate study, all right? It's online, it's anonymous, you'll hear more information about it, be on the lookout, open it, the goal, answer it, open it and answer it. The goal is to beat the response rate in 2015, which was 68%. So, I want to get maybe 70%. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
The PCC Foundation will be hosting the Downey's Holiday Show November 1st through the 4th. I see we've not had another meeting until October 31st, so I felt like we needed to tap into this real quick. Hands up for anyone in the room who has volunteered for the Downey's Holiday Show. Awesome. Okay, new folks. We've got a lot of new folks on campus who's never heard of the holiday show or has not volunteered. You're right. The point is, we need your assistance. We could not run the show without our volunteers. We've got a slew of different types of volunteer work to be filled. You will be getting emails out from, receive emails from Kim Simpkins, that works in our office. The more people we have, the easier things flow. It's fun, and it's our biggest fundraiser. We raise over $100,000 for student scholarships through this event. So we hope you'll participate.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the report from the red-headed stepchildren that live down the road called continuing education. Just to let you know, our personal enrichment groups, we had the biggest camps we've ever had. This year, we had more new students than we've ever had. So that's a really big plus for Lisa and her group. Our healthcare department, we had the NACES testing this past weekend. We had 24 tests and 24 passed. All of the healthcare classes are full right now already. That's good. And then we're looking for a nursing instructor that has long-term care experience. I think it's 2,000 hours. Fire, I'll let you do that. Okay, you know what's happening in fire? Okay, all right. The Small Business Center is going to be having our business showcase on September the 17th from 5:30 to 7:30. We are going to send out invitations to all of our clients, and they will be asked to showcase their businesses in here. There will be a time of networking, and then we're also going to have some testimonials from some of our barber students that were students and have now opened their own businesses. So I think it'll be great. Come on now, Mark. In that area, the OE training, we've got the trade classes are going extremely well for this work. The framing class is doing exceptionally well. They cleared 2 weeks of instruction on the first day. So they're just eating it up. We've got an HVAC class that's going to start September 22nd, and a welding class that will start September the 8th. The welding class is already full, however, if that was your passion, sorry. But we do have a waiting list. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? All right, I know you're at a few minutes over. Don't forget, if you have any topics, email that college council email, so it comes to us. That way we can cover any topics that you want to see. Our next meeting is October 31st in Fulford at 2:30. So try to get us some ideas and put in something that you want to see. If not, everyone have a good afternoon.